Hey, Captain Mike from Forbes Fishing, and today we're in Somers Point, New Jersey, and I'm visiting GW Performance Welding, and they're a manufacturer of custom marine aluminum products. So stay tuned. So Glenn, how'd you get started doing marine metal fabrication?
So I went back to Viking as a welder back in the late 90s, learned the marine trade, and left there after a couple of years, started a metal shop for Egg Harbor Yachts. When they had reopened back then, worked there for a couple of years and left there and went on my own in the end of 2001. Been doing it ever since.
Well, down in South Jersey, it's a tight-knit community with the metal fabricators, and I know you and I both know 4 or 5 guys that are doing the same thing. Now, several of them all say, including yourself, that you guys get along pretty well.
Yep.
And you kind of stay. One of the guys told me that you all seem to stay in your own lanes. Meaning, like, you all
have our own
niches.
What we do, what we specialize in. So, I mean, there's a few jobs that, we overlap a little bit on, but we all kind of know who does what, and if it's something we don't normally do, we'll send it off to somebody else.
So, Glenn, what's GW's specialty niche? What's your sweet spot?
More of the smaller stuff, rocket launchers, T-tops. We don't get into doing full tuna towers. I'll go out and repair them, do a lot of repair work, mobile repair work. But as far as building full towers, that's just not what I do.
So Glenn, it's funny, I always get questions about mobile repair work, and certainly that's a more expensive endeavor. You got to have a mobile truck, you got to be willing to do some window time. How far do you go? Obviously your shop's here in Somers Point, New Jersey. How far are you willing to go for mobile work? And it's probably dependent on your schedule and things like that, but what's your typical range?
So we've gone everywhere from New York, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, and all over New Jersey. So
you're not afraid of traveling.
If they're willing to pay the money for the travel and everything, yeah, we'll travel. So if not, I can normally try to find somebody that can help them out, depending on what the job is. But I do know some other fabricators, other places I try to send people to, just to save them money. So they're not
paying all that travel.
Not having to pay me so much to travel.
So Glenn, speaking of small parts, I want to take a look at, and here's a couple rocket launchers that you made for me, and I am so very excited to get these on my boat. I have a 30-foot center console, and on the back of the hardtop, across the back of the hardtop, I have rod holders, and on the hardtop support legs, there's rod holders. But if you're going far offshore, you're bringing almost every rod you have, right? Yep. You're going to bring rods that you can cast with, you get your trolling gear, and when you go to try to clear rods, you don't want them in the gunnels. Like, you don't want to have to walk around the boat and move a rod if you're fighting a fish. So this is going to allow me, where I have one rod holder, to basically throw 3 rods up in that same rod holder. And obviously I'm getting 2 because my OCD wouldn't allow me to have just one on one side of the hardtop, so I want to have one on each side. But these are just beautiful, just works of art. I love the plastic insert so that it doesn't wobble so much.
More the gap.
Yep, I love the gimbal groove so that it doesn't rotate around. And the rod holders themselves have the pin in them as well. And also plastic inserts to protect my butts.
This design here was originally designed for a leaning post, like on a backrest on a leaning post, to put them in the corner ones, to take, like, say, like a 4-pole backrest and turn that into a 6 or a 8-pole backrest. You're going to double the rod storage. So yeah, they've worked out really good. We came out with these a few years ago. Between these and all the other ride clusters that we do, the triples, the kite clusters, the fives, and we do a 4-pole cluster that's really been taken off. So they've been doing a lot of good stuff lately. People have been loving them.
So, Glenn, this is all anodized aluminum.
Yep.
So as far as care on these, it's just really wax?
The wax, just soap and water, just like you normally would any of the other bright work on your boat.
Yep.
Same stuff, just, if you don't take any care of it, it's gonna show.
It will show. Now, Glenn, your welds are just beautiful, and that comes with practice. How many years of TIG welding do you think you have under your belt to get to this level of smooth quality?
I started TIG welding in 1996. Really started doing the anodized work a lot in the late 90s is when we finally when we started doing a lot of it. I had done a little bit before that, but when I went to Viking in the late 90s is when when the anodized came together. And it's just a case of doing it, practicing, burning rod.
This isn't a skill that someone could just pick up in 10 minutes and be good at.
Not too much. I mean, some guys you can get decent if you got the right knack, but no, it's typically not a pick it up and just do it kind of deal.
I remember when I was a kid, I worked at Pipe Welders. I shared that story with you, and so many people would come in the front door and say, "Oh, I'm a certified welder,
yep.
Stick or MIG."
I've had them come through. I've seen a lot of them, and that have said, "Oh, I do a lot of welding aluminum." And there's a different technique that we use for the anodized than your regular aluminum.
Let's go over and check out one of the machines. I recognize this Miller over here.
Yeah, it's an oldie but goodie, old Thinkerwave 250.
And these are water cooled, right? Water cooled torches?
Water cooled machine. Keeps it from going, and this thing, we've been using this machine for a long time. Looking to get a new one here pretty soon.
Now I'm looking for the torch end here, following the leads. Here we go.
Yep.
So there's sometimes a religious debate. I remember growing up, we only used torch heads that had the finger button. And I know a lot of people are into the pedal. What's your opinion on the differences between
For this kind of work with the anodized, you have to use the button. I mean, you can use the foot pedal, but you're going to go crazy trying to drag a foot pedal around on a boat and everything.
Wouldn't work on a boat at all.
You really need to use a button with the technique that we have to do with the anodized. For a lot of other stuff, I love the foot pedal. For the heat control when I'm doing thin aluminum parts or even stainless, stuff like that.
Now, when we said this was water cooled, a couple of these lines actually have antifreeze in them, right?
Yep. Two of them.
Probably
a power line that'll have antifreeze in it, and a return line, and the other one's your gas line that'll run the argon through there.
And straight argon, or is it argon mix, or?
Straight argon.
For cutting anodized aluminum, it's basically like wood cutting tools, right?
Wood,
so we have a
blade on there.
Bandsaw blade here.
Chop saw. It's all really got to come down to the right blades that you use, but yeah, most of it's a lot of the same woodworking tools.
So here we have your pipe rack, very nicely organized. Everything's protected. You don't want to scratch your anodized pipe. And here you have a typical miter saw that someone would use for woodworking.
Exactly.
Set up in a really nice bench. So you
That's the bright metal blade on it.
I love the tape measure embedded in there, so you know when you're pulling stock off of here, you just need a rough,
Yeah, but
it's not an exact size you need here. The shorts pile.
Yeah.
The shorts pile and the scrap pile. That's beer money right there.
Yep.
So, Glenn, I think I recognize this tool. This is for putting an arch into or a bow into a pipe, right?
Yep. Yeah, we use that for crowning all the pipes, putting a soft bend in them.
So this would be like, I don't know, 3 inches over 8 feet, or something along those lines. We had, when I was a kid, we had one that was made out of old Harley Davidson parts, and it was a little temperamental. We had to put we would put a center line on the pipe, or a straight line down the pipe, and we'd have to put a pair of vice grips on the one end, and make sure we held it, because it would want to twist. I'd imagine the modern tools are better about that.
Yeah, they're pretty good. You still got to make sure they don't twist them no matter what. But yeah, they work pretty good. Different shoes, different diameters, depending on which one, what we're rolling.
So a lot of people don't understand that there's a difference between bending pipe and bending tubing. And this is a pipe bender. And what
this will be a pipe bender that we use. Goes around there. Different size shoes for different size pipes. Hold it right around. That'll put the harder bends on them, like for corner and stuff like that. Whereas bends like this would be done on this machine here, this Greenlee machine here. We can bend up to like a 180 to bend on that one.
And the thing you're looking for, you need to be able to bend pipe in a tight radius without having any crinkles, without having any kinks.
Without it kinking up and everything. So.
And sometimes you'll even see on pipe that maybe wasn't manufactured well or wasn't anodized well, sometimes you'll get some, you'll see it in the bend.
You can see it in the bend. If it's a bad piece of aluminum, sometimes they'll kink up. So, but nowadays there's not too many people making the anodized stuff. It's really down to 1 or 2 companies, and most of their stuff is good stuff anymore.
So this is something that over here that I never had much experience using. This is a Bridgeport, right?
The Bridgeport machine for milling stuff. We use it a lot for drilling. It's basically a big drill press.
Sure is.
But we can do a lot of milling on there. We got a small lathe for making certain parts, turning stuff down. We'll use, like, if we need to make a custom splice for joining pipe together. So
now these are some people call these fish mouths, some people call them copes.
Yeah, notch pipe.
Now, did you do this on the Bridgeport?
That was done on here. Just real rough cut before we get to weld up the part. We still got to clean it up a little bit, clean the edges up.
But even this, to have it, kind of chamfered on the inside like this so that it fits up against another piece of pipe. I mean, that's, again, you mentioned how this needed a little bit of cleanup, but that is one tight gap. You can't get it much closer to that. When I was young, we did all that outside on a bandsaw.
Yeah. I mean, the majority of our stuff is still done on a bandsaw for the fitting, and we can get it pretty tight with that too. Just some of the stuff that I make a lot of, it's easier to make it the same on here, jig it up, and...
I could see you have a collection of jigs in the background, probably for stock items that you build a lot of.
Jigs all over the shop. So.
These are templates for bends, right, for your bending machine?
Yep.
And these are index marks in the pipe that will correspond to a die on your bender, so that you line this up with a...
We can lay it out and figure out how much pipe we're going to need, how long a piece to cut, and before we just start cutting and bending and wasting pipe. So...
Now, what kind of things would you turn on the lathe? Because
we got different oddball jobs from time to time. Like with the marine stuff, we'll make splices for joining the pipes together. different size custom ones, from maybe going from a Schedule 40 pipe to a Schedule 80 pipe,
Oh, yeah.
or just an oddball size. And then we get some other jobs from here and there that come in that we need to turn down for something.
I see a plasma cutter, I see a MIG gun, so.
Little MIG machine that we hardly ever use.
So it's funny when people find your name or know of you, you end up getting, you mentioned other oddball jobs. You end up getting repair jobs and other kinds of metal or things that aren't marine.
We still get people calling us over the broken chair and stuff like that. As soon as they see welding, they want to call you for everything. So
Outboard skegs. Do you do?
outboard skegs, we do them a lot.
Do a lot of those.
So a lot of outboard skegs, cavitation plates, we do them all the time.
So a lot of people don't know, so things like that are cast aluminum.
They're cast, yeah.
A little different technique to weld those up?
Yeah, a little different, just the way we gotta V it out, we'll V everything out, tack it up. We just gotta be a little different technique, not too much. Then we'll finish it all down, grind it all down, smooth it all out, get it all ready for paint. So try to make it look like it's never broken.
That's great. Well, Glenn, you have a wonderful shop and you got a wonderful niche in the business, doing the small stuff. There's more of us small boater guys in the world than there are the big boater guys. And you will absolutely get more work doing things like T-tops and rocket launchers and rod holders and custom pieces for folks. So I absolutely wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, I'd say we ship this stuff all over the world, so it's became a good market for us.
Glenn, how do people find you? You got a website?
So we got a website, that'll be gwperformancewelding.com. We're on Facebook and Instagram, or just Google us up and you can find us and give us a call or shoot us an email.
And you're a South Jersey guy, so all the shows like you and I are both going to the AC Boat Show today.
We'll be displaying at the AC Boat Show all this week. We've been doing it every year since 2002. We haven't missed one yet. We also do the Saltwater Fishing Expo every year up in Edison, New Jersey.
That's later this month, I think March.
Some other shows, so it's always.
That's right around St. Patrick's Day, I think, that show, right? That weekend?
2 weeks from here now. I think it's 15th of March, somewhere around there. So.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Well, Glenn, thank you very much. I really appreciate you spending the time with me and showing me your shop and trading some stories. Look forward to seeing you at today's show and at the Expo Center. And best of luck to you and your family.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for coming.